Hello and welcome to Highly Informed. I'm your host, Shaun Salvaje. Highly Informed is all about entheogenic education and news you can use when it comes to the world of cannabis and psychedelics. We are filming a special season of Highly right now in the heart of Texas, Austin, or at least that's what I say. And we're here with Nick Mortillaro. Nick has actually just opened a boutique right across from the Capitol, thank God. So if you're out there activating, advocating, or just having a good time with your legislators, go to Nick's spot. It's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's so great when we're celebrating the fruit of our success. And sometimes people can see it as like, wow, overnight success. It's incredible. Exactly. Tell me, how long did it take you to get to where you are today, which is, I mean, you have experience on the East Coast. You have experience here. You're from Texas. You went to the East Coast, opened a business, sold a business. You didn't even start in cannabis, though.
Right.
Like, what's your background?
Years of work. So my background is in chemical engineering. I started my career in the traditional biotech pharma industry. I was making monoclonal antibodies for cancer research for large biotech companies out of Massachusetts, Boston. And then in 2018, Massachusetts went full adult use rec legal cannabis. And I kind of realized, I was always in it to help patients, people that were suffering, and make drug substances that were going to help them, right, live better lives. And I realized cannabis was a very pharmaceutically active class of compounds. And I could make a bigger impact in that industry than I could in the traditional biotech and pharma route. So I took a big risk. I jumped from a pretty cushy biotech job with, benefits and a great salary to start my own company and do the startup thing. We eventually got 3 licenses for cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution. And I operated that company for about 5 years as we got it up and running.
And then?
Sold the company, moved back here to Texas. And have been kind of working, advising, and investing in companies here in Austin since then. And
most of us are familiar, at least in the Texas community, we're familiar with Nick because he's a friendly face with Lazy Days.
Yeah.
He's always hosting events. He's always you hosted the MCBA Texas tour.
That's
that
right.
was incredible opportunity to bring folks together to actually work through issues ahead of the ledge last fall.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much. And perfect. But now you have the store on Congress and
1701 Guadalupe.
on Guadalupe.
So it's right across from the Travis County Courthouse.
Woo!
Yep.
So you can go get married and go get high.
Yeah, or divorce.
We
actually have lots of divorcees who are free. They come right over and they enjoy our products and their freedom.
I'm not saying I'm a high volume consumer with a divorce under my belt, but maybe I am. No, but all kidding aside, you've come a long way and you've learned several lessons, like we all do, the hard way. How, folks are going to be here, like we just talked about the quantum leap.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a quantum leap straight into a brick wall.
Sure.
How do you, with everything that you've built, and folks don't understand it yet, but I'm going to share with y'all, Nick also has this AI supercomputer vending machine.
It's a smart vending kiosk, yeah.
It's incredible. So he really is leading the charge for the future, which I'm excited about because it creates opportunity. Like what we were talking about with Cynthia, and you would think with AI, there's a limitation, barriers to entry. We'll get to it. But those moments before you get to the successes like the vending machine and the store, when you hit those brick walls and you just took a quantum leap and you smack in your face.
Yep.
How do you get back up?
Help. Good mentors. I've got a couple years of experience, but I'm really only where I'm at today because I've had the mentorship and help of people that have been doing it for decades, right? So we really sit, and stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before us, both on the advocacy side and the business side, right? So I've benefited greatly from, people that were willing to take a chance on me, the time to mentor me, take me under their wing, work with me. And learn from that experience. And when you do fail, they're going to be the ones that say, hey, but you did do this, right? Or if you just tweak it that little way, I failed that way before too. And this is what I did. And it can be inspiring to kind of look to those that have, come before you, and they can help guide you out of those rough patches. And you can see, everyone's going to fail. But when you work together with a team, you can learn even faster from each other's failures, and keep the bus moving.
I think that's the best thing about breaking through the shame of failure, like as soon as possible. And I'll be really honest, it took me until I think I was like 35 and I knew training, it was jujitsu, because otherwise I really had a hard time acknowledging it or admitting it. Not because I couldn't learn from it. I always had that belief, but just because of the shame. So it was just like you try to avoid it and it makes it 10 times worse. And then in jiu-jitsu, you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get choked.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to happen. Give in, like let it surrender to it, accept that defeat will happen. And then there's something about when you know that, you become actually kind of fearless with the ledge being the way that it is. Like this is not the conversation we had planned. Actually, I'm way off from questions that I sent Nick, by the way. This is the power of conversation and story. When you lose your shame and fear of failure and you're able to share it with other people in a way that isn't, oh, I've been there, done that, but here's what I learned.
Yep.
How do you see that actually? How has that helped to shape and innovate the industry? How have you seen community learning in action?
Yeah. We mentioned it earlier. MCBA did an event with us, Minority Cannabis Business Association, and really working with your community to empower them, right? To work together with them, right? We're stronger together. And cannabis is a very community-based industry, right? Years of federal prohibition and, illegal markets have really brought us really close together, You've got a CannaFam that's strong. And so using that, working with your community to build something together really helps make it stronger, and works with those synergies. So, when we did that event, for example, we're talking now about creating, one of my smart kiosk vending machines that is a platform for small brands, minority-owned brands, to get into the industry because it's hard and it takes a lot of money. And having, a platform that showcases those brands and gets them in, helps pull others with us, right? Bring them along, put your friends on, give them an opportunity to stand out.
So, on that note, I had actually talked to you privately about, the boys are teenagers. College is a real thing. I was hoping we would have figured out the government paying for all of this, but damn it, they're going all kinds of different directions right now. So looks like mama's funding this one. And an interest in your machines, but when I had first approached, I really thought, oh my God, it's going to be like a $50,000 machine. Ugh, no, can't do that. Too risky, too much. We've had other vendors from other states come out with big machines that are really impressive that farmers would love to have on the farm. But at $100,000, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of overhead. Tell us how you've designed these vending machines or spec them out to make it an accessible entry, as accessible as it can be. Still might be a little bit out of touch for some, but we're not talking about 100. Yep. We're not talking about 50. We're not even talking about 30.
Usually 20 grand, you can get started. That's been my goal since the beginning is, an engineer, right? An engineer's job is to design for efficiency. And you cut out all the extras, right? The stuff that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's cool, bells and whistles, functionality, but that increases cost. So you're really trying to find your minimum viable product. What is going to get your product to the customer where they already are in the most efficient way possible, right? That's the cheapest possible, the least amount of steps, the most easy user interface for them. And don't do anything extra, right? Do what you're going to do, that core stuff really, really well and compliantly, and deliver consistently. So that's what we've done, and that's what we're chasing.
And the thing about, so I first learned about your machines, and I want to let every budtender who's watching know I have been one of you.
Yeah.
We're thinking of you too. There's a way that things can work symbiotically.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And we talked about that. I had John Bond on last season, and from illicit in Missouri. They're not illicit; it's the name.
Yeah, gotcha.
But Texas, got to clarify. But he had mentioned having kiosks for those who are experienced. They know what they want, and they want to get in and out. But then having that budtender experience for the folks who really want it, or maybe they're looking to switch up their routine. Especially if they're doing it for pain management and alternative medication, even though we're not calling it that nootropic, nutraceutical,
Yep.
which is how it really should be labeled as a plant. But we can talk about that. We can get there. So there's room for both. But when I heard about your machine, it was because of Senator Perry saying they're targeting the children on purpose. And someone did mention that someone had set up a vending machine not 1,000 yards away from a school, which is not a good look for the industry and super bad business practice. Like, those of us who are good partners, we don't want that kind of thing. We're trying to build regulation.
Absolutely.
Well, you surprised me because your machine is kind of special. Like,
Oh yeah. So I'll launch into a little bit about it now. They are fully age verified machines. So that's what we're talking about here, and that's the difference.
That's
between,
the supercomputer.
Yeah, it's actually not even that super of a computer. It's a fairly basic algorithm. I didn't do anything too crazy innovative. This technology exists. So what we have, it's called ISO certification. It's ISO or IEC 27655 is a formal government certification for checking IDs, right? And these machines, basically, they use the same facial recognition technology that is in your iPhone to check your face, right? See the person that is in front of it. Then you present your ID, driver's license, and it checks it against DMV records, right? Same technology they have at the airport. So it's impossible to pass a fake ID. You can't do a paper ID or anything like that. And then it confirms, one, that the ID is accurate, and then two, it's the person that is in front of the machine. So if I were to steal your ID, of course, you're over 21, I can't buy a product with your ID, even though your ID is real, because it's not the same face. And really, that facial recognition technology has come leaps and bounds just in the past 6 to 9 months, to the point where it'll know it's you. You can put on glasses, you can cut your hair, I can shave my beard, do whatever. It knows, and it's very, very good and very consistent at doing so. So using that facial recognition technology, that document verification hardware, we can basically confirm with close to 99.999% accuracy an age verified transaction, where that machine will lock up until it gets a real ID from a real person that's standing in front of it. It will not sell an age-gated product unless those specifications have been met. So it prevents kids. It prevents me using your ID. So you've got a very high degree of certainty and control and compliance around the selling of adult products, which of course includes hemp.
And this is what kind of got me a little more, because Cynthia was saying Texas actually has a pretty strong blueprint for how to have a free market through our hemp industry. And now we can add regulation as needed, because for the most part, good retailers are self-regulating.
Yeah.
Now, those business owners who stick a machine that doesn't age verify near a school, we can hold them accountable especially if they're not registered. Now we can trace it back to who the police can actually use their resources to deal with problematic folks.
Exactly.
Instead of busting up hemp store owners who have invested, like, how much did it take for you to invest into figuring all of this out? When Senator Perry said it, I was like, I haven't yet seen a vending machine that is doing that kind of work. That's largely why I was like, not into it. And then also for the budtender's sake, didn't like depersonalizing that experience.
Yeah.
But
the great thing is, and that's why I kind of say smart kiosks, right, versus vending machine, because everyone's familiar with the idea of a vending machine, right? Bag of chips, can of Coke, you see the little thing, and
push
then your
buttons.
product drops down, right? These are smart touchscreen vending machines. So it's a full like 55-inch LED screen. You can't actually see the product that's inside, right? You are just looking at a smart touch screen where you can tap on the product. It can show you, the product specifications, the COA, the certificates of analysis for compliance, and most importantly, for your established retailers, infographics, right? About what is CBN? Why would I want this cannabinoid? How is it different from THC, THCA, Delta 8, Delta 9? What's the difference? You can show it graphically on the screen and explain to someone the difference between that double bond that makes the difference between Delta 8, Delta 9, and Delta 10. And you can see it graphically in a video. And it's really helps the customer understand, helps educate them, helps inform them so they can be highly informed about their product purchasing decisions, right? And it helps the budtenders too, your established retailers, because it frees up the budtender to have more of that interpersonal, right? Have more of that customer service angle of, I like this product before I go to sleep because it tastes delicious and it helps calm me down, right? And you can have more of that personal interaction that people want and less of the boring stuff of, being behind the counter and ringing somebody up. Oh, no, wait,
I
I want that
so
one.
bad
I want that one. Yeah.
when I know what I want, but then I bother the bud tenders. I'm like, wait, let me smell. Because here we still have deli style.
Sure.
Not everybody does.
And that's great.
Some don't offer it, some do. I love to go to the places that do because I need to actually smell the product.
Yeah, you want to smell it. You want to see the bud structure, the rest of it. So,
but once we know that we have trusted product, the convenience and ease of a machine. The other thing is, I love that you mentioned being highly informed because it did get my wheels turning. Whole product lines that brands can develop that don't necessarily exclusively dispense only hemp or cannabis products, but nootropic products or other products like
mushrooms, kava, kratom, all these compounds, naturally derived botanicals. Yeah.
Or even if, let's say you're a gym owner and you don't want to go all the way crazy, you've got a more conservative audience, you can put other beverages, other healthy products right next to a hemp product that might also help your client, like a THCV gummy.
Absolutely.
To help you with appetite control. I don't own a company who's invested in it. I'm not making any claims.
Yeah.
I love it. It's been helpful. It's helpful, not a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. So I have THCV, a little gummy, helps me to wake up, manage focus really nicely.
Exactly.
Bring down maybe if I have a little too much of other cannabinoids in my system and it's messing with my focus, helps me to refocus that, bring it down. And to have that product readily available, like if I went to the gym, to be able to buy something like that and maybe a recovery gummy, now we're talking about normalization.
Exactly.
So I was curious, like how you saw the connection between automation and normalization.
It's huge. Really, my goal has been to hit that, I say efficiency, but also least common denominator, right? We want to democratize cannabis, right? And give that power back to the people, right? And one way to do that is to lower that barrier to entry, both for entrepreneurs that want to start a company, right? And build out a retail location, right? I mean, look, shout out to Cozy Cannabis. We're here today. This is a beautiful space, right?
You want to be here.
Tell me, right? You want to be here? It takes a lot of money to do this. It takes a lot, right? And
well, Brandy has also told me, Brandy's the owner, and she does have Danny.
Yeah.
Danny is her husband, I believe. And Danny is such a craftsman. He's built this stuff. Yeah. But this is one of the most beautiful buildings and spaces in downtown Austin I've been in.
And it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of time and a lot of money to create something like this. And not everybody has that off the jump, right?
Or has a Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't. We mentioned that divorce thing. So if you're looking, gentlemen, just kidding.
You're handy.
No, I'm way too busy. I'm like always on the go.
Look at one of getting these automated machines.
There you go.
Yeah, that can be your Danny. You can name it whatever you want.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, because even if you built a space like this as retailers, let's say you have a dream of having a space. We don't want to take away from retail spaces being open. We don't want to take away from that people experience.
Absolutely.
But if you have one of these, you don't have the capital. It takes multiple millions.
Right.
People think, I can rubber band this for maybe $200,000. maybe 250.
And they're mortgaging their house. They're
it,
taking money from investors.
right.
Yeah.
High risk. I would not mortgage my house.
It's a lot.
It's bad move. Bad money move.
Yeah.
One of these machines at 20, how have you seen revenue turn over?
It's fantastic. I mean, with the hemp
whatever
products,
you can share with us.
Yeah, usually the break even is about 9 months from what we've seen on monthly sales. It all depends on what location you find, right? But if you've got, most of us have, a cousin or an uncle that's got a bar or a restaurant that they're opening, or
just friends.
a gym.
I can think of several places. Yeah, right. 10th Planet Austin. I would love to give you a vending machine. No.
Yeah, and these business owners want these things because think about it. How many hotels, for example, have a dispensary on site, right? How many apartment complexes, right? They're all talking about amenities, right? Oh, we've got a pool, we've got a fitness center, we've got the business center. Yeah, they all do. How many have a dispensary on site and can say, yeah, we've got an on-site dispensary?
And there's a way to have a mini one. Break down the licensing on this.
Yeah.
Because you can have almost a mini dispensary. I mean, I'm thinking it's about more than just, it means I can invest in one and get the return to pay for my son's college.
Exactly.
That's huge. It means other moms like me can invest in one. Maybe they do have a dream of having a cozy cannabis, like a place where you can relax and lounge and consume. It takes a lot to get here.
Yeah.
And how do you get that startup capital if you don't come from money?
Generate it yourself.
Exactly.
Get one of these machines moving, get cash flow positive, build and stack up that money. One machine can turn into two into four into 10. And then all of a sudden you've got some reoccurring passive revenue, right? Passive income that you can put toward those larger dreams.
So
right?
Tell them about how passive is passive really though.
Yeah, it's all up to you. So obviously, this is my business, right? I can sell you the machine, and if you already got the products for it, you know where you want to put it, you want to fill it yourself, it's yours. It's your property. You can do with it as you please. The other thing we do is we can manage it, right? And we've got a distribution company, Aim High Hemp Distro, that specializes in this. So all the products that will be in the distro will also be already configured for the machine. So let's say you purchase a machine and you want to do it for your sons, but you're busy. You own your own company. You can't manage this business as well. Easy. You tell me, Nick, I want my machine here. I want it branded like this. And then you pick the products that go in it, right? You can just double the products I already have.
It's a white label kiosk.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I'll put the products that I'm running in my machines personally in that machine, right? And every time I swap something out, I'll tell you, say, hey, I just swapped this SKU for this gummy, right? Sells a little bit better.
And then who else can check that? Because they were all up in arms about SKUs and regulated products and pulling things off the shelf. But if DPS comes in with their little paper, and they look at your machine, they compare the SKUs and all the SKUs match up. Yeah,
they can audit it. And that's what I really like from the compliance perspective on these machines as we're talking about SB3. It is just the perfect model to ensure compliance, right? You cannot think of a better solution. I mean, that's why it's ISO certified, right? Because a regulator can come in and say, hey, we had a product recall on this gummy because we found E. coli at the manufacturer. Okay, great. From my computer, I don't even have to get on my pajamas. I can log into my laptop and kill that gummy in all the vending machines.
So it just won't dispense it?
Yep, so it won't dispense that SKU at all. It'll basically quarantine it until a tech comes out to collect that product. And I can tell them, hey, this is every single unit that has sold since we put it in there.
Ooh,
right? This is who it went to. We can contact that person.
Back to your credit card processor, then you can actually contact customers.
Yeah, I can contact them and say, hey, so sorry, you were sold this gummy. It's in a product recall. We've already issued you a refund. How about you come back to the machine and get a credit for whatever, swap out. You know, that's up to the manufacturer.
Bill decoded.
Yeah.
It's so adaptable. And I mean, I know we talked a lot about the machine. That what I brought you here for is because I couldn't help but admire the forward thinking, especially as like I said, looking to pay for the kids' college. We had a pandemic.
Yeah.
I work in the cannabis industry. It's crazy in Texas. You know, it's a little up, it's a little down. It's feast, It's famine sometimes. And when we're investing in the future, I'm not going to sink money into something that isn't credible and doesn't show me that it can't have a return and isn't safe because the regulators will kill it. And I think that's what's the funniest thing about the regulators making the accusations that good business owners want to sell to kids, or that business owners want to sell to kids because they think that might have been their strategy back in the day with tobacco. That was done to us.
Yep.
Most business owners, at least my age, like older millennial, I think a lot of the Gen Z are hyper conscious.
Right.
And being able to invest in a product where it's age gated, you can trust the reliability, it's matching up with DPS's records already, it can scan the ID, you don't have to worry about human error, you don't have to worry about someone borrowing their brother's ID, having the same face because it'll run it.
Oh yeah.
You have the, like, it just makes too much sense. But the thing that I love the most is that if you got 4 girlfriends together, you at just 5 G's each.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it still feels out of touch. Okay, if you got 20 of your family together,
Right.
Let's break it down as much as possible. If
Yeah.
you got 50 folks and you're all broke, but you got a little bit,
Yeah.
and you can chip in and buy a machine, you can create equity in a way that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And it's not owned, it's not patented totally. Like, yes, you have the machines, all of that stuff, but your way and the way that you're helping other people to do it, you don't have to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I have you here at the table.
Totally.
It's because you're helping others to create generational income.
Yeah.
When they have nothing, and you don't have to do that. So tell me, like, final thoughts. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, there was a long time that I was developing these units, and we were kind of doing it in stealth. We didn't want to sell them to other companies, basically make competition. We really wanted to kind of develop it for ourselves, keep it for ourselves. And just about 6-9 months ago, I realized, hey, I could do this. I could have 10 machines, 20 machines, build a little empire. But that's not what this is really about. Right. And especially with this, compliance crisis that we have right now in Texas, I really want to get it out there to regulators. Come to my shop, come reach out to me. I'll be at the Capitol. You'll know me. Come and see this machine for yourself, because it's the solution to the problem that we're having in multiple ways. Right. It solves the regulators' problem of compliance. It solves the business owners' issues of operational nightmares. Trust me, running retail is difficult. I run real retail locations as well. And there's a lot that goes on, right? These machines are automated. They really help lessen the burden. And it also solves the issue for product brands because they are able to put advertisements, promos up on that screen. They can convey their brand message, their brand storytelling, the way they want to say it. Right. Whereas, you can inform the budtenders, but they may not hit it the same way that the company wants it every single time. The machine will do whatever you tell it to do. So there's so many pluses.
Or it frees up the budtenders
Exactly.
to give that more custom experience, which people, when they're talking to their budtenders, it's like a bartender.
Oh, yeah. It's a real personal relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're looking for connection most of the time.
100%.
And that's where you do good business. And I think that's what I really loved about your machines, about connection, about providing opportunity to build generational wealth. And the thing that I hope that, like, Cynthia and I were talking, a few episodes ago about committing fratricide and in the industry, and trying to look at this like it's a piece of, like it's a pie and there's only so many pieces to go around. And what your example with the vending machine automation shows us, and I hope that Teacup and other folks who are standing against him can see. Yeah. Because I want to bring our good partners back into the fold. Like, sometimes we fuck up and we say dumb shit.
Sure.
Some folks aren't going to be able to walk it back because they've participated a bit too much in the lobbying effort and they've given too much money. But I think if you were scared and looking out for yourself and you made a mistake, better to actually own it.
Absolutely.
And then come back to the table than to completely alienate yourself. However, when you don't look at things from a scarcity mindset, when you don't see it as pie that's being cut up, when you realize that there's an opportunity to create abundance for all of us.
Yeah, everybody can eat.
That's a level of capitalism I can get into, because now we've empowered, like, through one machine, let's say our 4 imaginary women who invested, and they see their return in 9 months. Now these 4 women have funding to do 4 other creative things that they actually give a damn about. Unless this is what they really love.
Right.
And then they
can double down on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
you
you
found
gotta
a way
give that power to the
to
people.
make money while helping other people to make money. And I think overall that creates way more opportunity
Yep.
and abundance than whatever this mindset issue is that we have in the industry.
And it's that your downside liability is really, really low, because let's say the worst case scenario happens, right? And some form of SB3 does pass, right? In the state of Texas, and hemp is significantly curtailed, banned. Right? Or banned, which I think is ridiculous, but it, stranger things have happened. These machines are adaptable. You can, like that, turn around and start selling, salads out of it, right? Or cosmetics or non-alcoholic beverages.
Or other products in alignment with your vision. Like for Highly Informed, I would want to have
you could do merch.
All sorts of products.
Yeah.
Or Kana, not Kana.
Yeah.
Like Kana, like Kana.
Yeah, the other place.
There's so many things.
Yeah. And you can move them to other states. They're movable, they're adaptable. And what I love about it is, unlike e-commerce, right? You are buying a real piece of capital equipment. That is a piece of hardware. When I say, that 20 grand, and it can be less depending on the unit. We've got wall-mounted machines that go for much less, right?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You can put them in the ladies' bathroom.
Exactly.
Like little wall machine looks kind of like a product dispenser, like lady products.
Exactly. You could do feminine products or, really cute items, whatever your niche is, whatever your products are. It's really adaptable, right? And you own it. So if you need to swap it out, change the license on it, do something else with it, you totally can. So it's a really, I think it's a smart investment. I'm invested in it personally. I wouldn't sell it to other people if I didn't have it personally and it wasn't working for me. So I'm really excited to share it with people. I hope if anybody's interested, they reach out to me. We can talk about it, get it going. You can do age verified units or not, right? That adds to the cost. There's a bunch of customization and functionality. But we really specialize in designing for your need, right? And your fit.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you can do really, the sky's the limit with it.
Last words, final thoughts. For those folks who are making their quantum leaps, who are hitting their brick walls, who are then finding their vending machine of their own or their smart kiosk of their own, whether it's, I'm talking metaphorically, what is your best advice for operators in the Texas cannabis or hemp scene right now, looking ahead to the rest of 2025?
Yeah. Get plugged in, get involved, right? We're having lobby day with TCC tomorrow, right? Showing up to these kind of events is where you meet business owners and other operators, right? And like I said earlier, learn from those that have come before you, right? We've all made these mistakes. There's institutional knowledge, right? There's community knowledge that good people are willing to share, right? So benefit from that. Share that knowledge back and forth. Also, keep your mind on your data. That's the other side of this vending machine and what I cannot stress to operators enough. You need to know who your product is selling to, when, where, how, why, for what price point. Highly, highly organized. And that's impossible to do without having a good handle on your data. So having something like this machine or whatever platform you're using to understand your metrics, really, really important.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you for bringing us all of the intelligence, the engineering background to the industry, finding ways to create automated solutions to address issues that, good legislators like Charles Perry have brought to us. We've already created solutions for them as far as automatic age gating.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much. And also really excited for that first machine that I put on the block. Hopefully it happens soon. More to come.
They're ready, guys. Reach out to me, especially those legislatures, because this
I can't wait till we have one in the Capitol. They could use one. I feel, though, that Senator Rosenthal would love to have one. He's a good partner, so
come on by.
Maybe he'll be the first to,
see it for yourself.
To stop by your store.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
and
Shaun.
Thank you all for joining us on this episode of Highly Informed. More to come. Up next, Kim Flores.
What up, Kim?
We're going to spill the Texas tea on hemp beverages.
Yum.